Right, over the ditch, back. Missed a couple of weeks with a little bit going on and on a very sombre week, I think, for harness racing, full stop. Luke Whittacker joins me. Firstly, Lukey, welcome back.
Thanks, Paul. How are you going?
Very good, mate. Tragic week for harness racing with the passing of Greg Sugars. Very, very sad. It's been spoken about a lot. I saw you put a post up of your time when you were in Queensland and got to spend a little bit of time with Greg, because he stays at Shannon Price's property there where you were working at the time, and he's just a huge loss for the industry.
Yeah, it's a massive loss to the industry. Greg was just one of those good guys, and we talked about how good of a driver he was, and 4,028 winners he drove, and it talked about that. Just the way he was off the track just showed the sort of person he was, and he always took the time to come and say hello and have a chat, and it's a very tough week for Australasian harness racing as a whole, but it's a very sad time, and I want to take the time to Jess and the Sugars family, and my heart goes out to you all.
Yeah, well said. Very trying. Luckily, the Kiwis got to see Greg at his finest just recently, of course, with Harry, but better eclipse as well. This time last year, he was setting the tracker alight, so we'll touch on that a little bit later on. But he is a massive loss. We're not going to dwell on it for too long, because the industry does go on, and I think Greg would only want it to continue on. But he was quite a unique character. What you saw on the track actually was what you got. That's a fair way of putting it, wouldn't it be, Lukey? Like you've seen him back at the stables. He was always that same cheeky, precocious sort of a person. He was a bit like a young colt, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He loved a good laugh, and no matter what happened on the track, win, lose or draw, as soon as he got off that track, he was just an unbelievable human being, and it's such a shame.
You're going to have to move that microphone, mate. It did it just touch that little lead, whatever it's doing. It hadn't done it for us the whole time in. Rightio. Luke, we'll get on to the racing. Firstly, massive time in New Zealand harness racing, and never seems to be a dull weekend at the minute. We're going into winter time where people want to hibernate a little bit, if you like, and it's just been phenomenal, the racing that's been put on the last few days.
Yeah, it has. The last few weeks have been unbelievable, the racing that's occurring not just within Auckland, but Christchurch and also in Invercargill. So, some very good meetings to go over today, Paul.
Yeah, we will indeed. We're going to start with the main race meeting. We'll do them in race order, but it actually we're going to highlight the five, I suppose, 3 Group 1s or 4 Group 1, 5 Group 1s. Sorry, I'll get into all sorts of trouble for that. But it started off basically at race 3. It got it super exciting. We won't worry too much, but with Ripples winning for the Emma Stewart stable and is staying there. It's fronting up again this Friday night. Exciting for harness racing, full stop, to have Australia's leading stable heading across to New Zealand, their first foray into travelling horses overseas. Yeah,
that's right. We always love the Aussies to come over here and compete, and she showed as a 2-year-old at Bathurst her qualities, and again on Friday night dictated from the front with another special drive from Blair Orange, and got the race done, even with a slight protest. But she looks a horse that's still very green and got a lot of ability.
And then the young guns for 2-year-old colts, and we will touch on this field a little bit later on, because it's almost the same field lining up this week. But we had Fugitive beating Fitzroy and All-American Player. Terrific race. Fugitive, though, was super.
Yeah, he was, and he's improved off that race at Cambridge. Obviously, Andretti got the better of him, but found the front, and Carter dictated, and they went at 155.7 mile rate and home in 57.4. So he was always going to be hard to catch from that top end, and showed he's a very, very good horse in the making.
Started off really what was a massive week for great supporters of mine in Woodlands Stud. Between them and Breckon Farms, they had a great night actually. On this night, they pretty much bred, I think, every winner except for the fast class trot between them. But they trifected this race, Woodlands, with Arafura beside me. They trifected that race, the 2-year-old. They also then trifected the very, very next race. This was a race. This is one of the races we will be showcasing, Lukey, and getting it out once it comes up for me. But this was stunning by Arafura. Brilliant race, and this filly, she's such a progressive filly, just continues to step the bar.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. I think we'd been saying for a number of weeks that she was due to get one of those big races, and yeah, she showed that 2700 suited her down to the ground, and with the quick tempo set up front, and yeah, she thrived off it. And as you said, she's a horse that's in another 6 months she's going to be even better. So yeah, she deserved that win, and I think she showed in the last few weeks in those other big races that she was due. So yeah, great for Hayden and Amanda to get another Group 1.
Yeah, you just got to watch the horse third last. If you haven't seen this race at all, watch the horse third last. The horse in front just stopped very, very quickly. I talk of Wine Light. It's the eye catcher of the race. Tricky draw for her. First time she's had a tricky draw as well, but the stablemate just finds the line terrific out wide. But Arafura, this is a progressive horse, Lukey. I keep saying to people, go back and watch her first win. To think what she's doing just over 6 months later, who knows where this mare is going to end up in another 6 months' time.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. And, they went 156.7 for the 2,700 metres. So showed she's a good staying type. And, the times they're running nowadays, they're just getting quicker and quicker. So, even the Derby, the way they're running times, yeah, it's pretty scary, isn't it?
Beside me, that down by the seaside, that Sun Beach Somewhere line, they're not noted for being long distance stayers. I think she just ran herself a little bit too hard. It's much spoken about how she likes a free bowl, and at 2,700 metres may be well and truly past her ideal trip. Yeah,
that's right. But she, obviously set the tempo, and I thought she was still very gritty to run second. So, yeah, hey, 2,700 metres, hard when you're running that sort of time. But, yeah, credit goes to her. She was still very gritty.
Yep. Another of the great supporters of Campbell's comments. I've got plenty of them out there, and I appreciate all of these guys as well. The team from Breckon Farms, they had the Breckon Farms Northern Trotting Derby. They had the favourite in it. They had quite a few runners in it in here that they bred and owned, keeping ownership in, but meant to be out in front. Got up to beat the stablemate, Lukey, but it was a very entertaining race. It wasn't a matter of just, Zach, we'll let you just go to the front and dictate. It was an incredibly entertaining race.
Yeah, it was. They had a decent crack and made them work for it. But, as Zach alluded to after the race, that, the last 100, he dug in deep and, showed why he's got such a good record and, why he's such a good horse. So, the second horse is a very nice horse in high power. He just seems to be running second to him every time he lines up. And I thought Habibti Pat was super in third too.
Yeah, it was. It was a real eye catcher. This was a little bit like Arafura. Both of these actually higher power as well. They were naughty boys. When they started racing 12 months ago in these 2-year-old events, both of them, I remember one day, one was on the unruly, lined up behind the stablemate. The stablemate knocked them both over. I mean, they were both very naughty boys. 12 months' time, they've got to this stage. Another 12 months, these horses are going to be going around in these free-for-all trots. It's going to be exciting for harness racing on both sides of the ditch because the Purdon stable's not scared to travel. And they're both very professional now. They find the line terrific. And as you said, Habibti Pat out wide. Look at it. And it's green. It's still got a lot of upside to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And like you alluded to, they're the next up-and-coming trotters. And we've already got a very great group of trotters at the moment in the free-for-all ranks. And, these horses coming through, it's very exciting for New Zealand racing.
Yeah, it is. And it continues. It continues on. I actually was half thinking about doing this horse out of order, but I don't think we should. I'm actually going to start. We've got plenty of time to discuss this race. I think you go a long way, Lukey, to find a better race than this. The Northern Derby, Woodlands Stud Northern Derby, won by Marketplace, of course. But if you look at the results, you say, he just led and he just got it all his own way. You're far from mistaken. I'm going to actually show the start of this race and then we will skim forward. Drew the pole, but it was on early and a lot of tactics, a lot of tactics that I think a lot of people probably don't appreciate here with Craig Ferguson and Johnny Dunn going hard early. And then just making sure that he couldn't get back onto his back. Captain Samson, Tony Cameron was kicking up, and Craig Ferguson used that to his advantage to make sure that one of his main dangers just couldn't get a soft, easy run.
Yeah, that's right. Very tactical race. And, Johnny obviously showed last week that he had the horse to beat Marketplace. And, Johnny always gives his horses every chance. And I think he decided, well, if I'm any chance of beating Marketplace, I've got to try and outstay him. So, when you see racing like this, it's great racing because it's not boring. Like, they're not Indian file. They're actually having a crack. And, the racing's on. So, but, yeah, credit to Marketplace. He's just an unbelievable horse. And, he's a horse that's going to go a very long way.
He is. I've skimmed forward a lap and a half. Again, this race was over the 2,700. There were no moves after that, and rightfully so. People got to realise they've gone 2 seconds quicker, might have even been 3 seconds quicker than Lazarus. They've gone 2 seconds inside the track record for this trip. Like this is phenomenal. But you can just see Ferg here. He knows what he's got. Like, he's kicked the earplugs out. He's a little bit of he knocks off, I suppose, a little bit, this horse, but he just has so much confidence in this horse, and just asking, just gone past the 400-metre mark. After that hard burn early, quality horses chasing him home, and he just continues to savage the line. Got a feel for the connections of Midnight Mickey. I'm not sure they would have beat him, but just held up for so long and battled to get through. Second was probably as good as they got, but they didn't really get a good opportunity to race him. And then down the outside, Better Anvil was terrific for Team Telfer.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. And it's still crazy to think that he's still got home in 28.5 after copping all the pressure. And, they've gone a 156 1 mile rate over the 2,700. And he still looked like he had some left in the tank, which is scary to think. And, Midnight Mickey was very good in second. And obviously, Better's Anvil's been racing superbly lately. That run into third. So, yeah, but you can't take it away from Marketplace. And the job that Regan's done with the horse and the way Craig's been driving it, big congratulations to the team.
I think Got the Chocolates was good. He only got beat 30 metres sitting outside of him, so I want to be able to work out how much extra ground you cover, but working that early burn as well. And Johnny wasn't hard on him over the last 100 metres, 200 metres. He just let him roll to the line. I think he was good. But there's definitely some upside. There's some really nice horses coming through. Better Anvil, I think, was probably the run of the race from the back. The unlikely ones, I suppose, people that, horses that people may not have known a lot about. He did find the line terrific, I thought. After pulling out, I think he pulled out about 700-800 from home. So it was a long way from home to get going. Yeah,
that's right. Like I said, he's been racing really good. And as we've seen at Cambridge, how green the horse is. So he's probably another one with another six months of racing under his belt. He's going to strengthen up and be another nice horse in the next 6 to 8 months.
I was in New Zealand 12 months ago, or maybe not 12 months ago, but when this race was actually actually I wasn't there for this race, and this was a night he actually galloped out. Just give me 1 sec, mate. I've just got to try and get it to pause at the start. Unbelievably bad luck. Look for the horse. Actually, you can get my mouse. That's Muscle Mountain there, and the stablemate, I think, is this horse here that is going to just cause all sorts of grief. You can actually already see that the tapes have released. So it was definitely a start. You couldn't script bad luck for a champion horse like Muscle Mountain that has happened over his journey. And this is just another one, Lukey. It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sometimes that happens in racing, and but when you get a race like that, you don't want to see that happen, especially with a good horse like Muscle Mountain. And it's some pretty bad luck, isn't it?
It is indeed. Oscar Bonavino galloped as well, and you just wonder whether that horse going backwards, and that's why I just went back and replayed it a couple of times. I'll do it actually one more time. It doesn't go near him, but not sure whether Blair might have grabbed the rein as well, thinking, hey, that horse is going to get me, and probably didn't help his cause either later on. But all got to take your hat off to Mighty Logan and Team Dunn. They've done an awesome job. They're the leading stable in New Zealand. They do a great job. And this horse he was terrific on this night.
Yeah, he was. He was actually very good last start in the 4-year-old and older trotting championships. His sectionals off the 30-metre marks was unbelievable. And when he sort of was off the front this week and he found the front, he was always going to be hard to beat with the times that he can roll along. So, even though those good horses were 10 metres behind him, it's, when you're running time off the front, you've still got to be very, very good to beat him. And, yeah, he's been a very good horse, and ever since the Duns have got him, he's just done such a good job. And it was quite funny there when he raced at Addington last start. The whole warm up when Bob was driving him, all he tried to do was put the boot in. So he's obviously a horse that's got a bit of character, and a few of us were giving it to poor old Bob the whole warm up when all it wanted to do was kick him out of the cart.
I'll get you to touch that microphone. Do you know the only reason that it's actually funny is because you're not driving him? That's one of the that's one of the cruel parts about this. You're laughing at someone's misfortune, but he is a nice up and coming horse. There were some good runs for the Hopes, Greg and Ben. Mr. Love was terrific. 1 overall was great. There's going to be it looks like there's going to be a fitting tribute to him to Greg Sugars this week as well with a horse that Greg did race. Queen Leader I thought was good. High Energy was good. Yeah,
obviously some very good runs in there, and this week they'll all be off the same mark. So, it's going to be an exciting race this week, the Roe Cup.
Yeah, and I don't think, as I said, Oscar Bonavino, I think nearly forget that. I think it was just an incident that basically upset two of the main fancies. That's the worst part. Poor old Muscle Mountain, it was ridiculous. But anyway, and then we go to the last of the Group 1s on what was an awesome night. This is the Dawson and Harford Messenger Mile. And they'd had a good night already, the Dalgettis, with I forgot his name, Fugitive, winning earlier. But one of their stable stalwarts in Republican Party was just too good, mate.
Yeah, that's right. He's been going super Republican Party without much luck, and we know when he gets over the trip and finds the front, he's very hard to run down. And he was, once he sort of got the barrier draw, and Ricky O'Rourke was always going to show the gate speed to get across him. And once he sort of found that front and, dictated from the top end and sprinted a very quick last half and 55-2 and 27-2, it was always going to be very hard to catch him. And some very good runs in behind though, Paul.
Oh, yeah, the opportunist, Mwanga, Don't Stop Dreaming, We Walk by Faith. Just massive, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I think we've said it about a couple of horses, but Mwanga, he's the next one, and he's due for one of these big ones, and he's only been beaten a nose and a couple of the big ones, and he's not far away from picking one up, that's for sure.
And We Walk by Faith, Hayden and Amanda, they've got a great team of horses. We've said it already tonight on today's show, but he's a ripper. I think they've worked out how to drive him that little bit quieter, and he just seems to be able to get to the line so good. And Don't Stop Dreaming, they'd be wrapped with him as well. So they're working these horses out as much as anything, and they've got a great team. And it's going to be great for racing in Canterbury by the time November comes around. But you look at some of those races like the Kaikoura Cups and a few of these other lead-up races, they're going to be great races next year with all these horses based down in Canterbury already.
Yeah, it will be, and hopefully you'll be over here taking some coverage.
I hope so too. Don't you worry about that. We'll work on that. We've got a couple of things to mention there. Anything else from the night at Auckland, mate? Just quickly before I get off it, Princess Gracie won the last for Zach Butcher. How many winners has Zach trained as a trainer?
Pass.
I'll tell you now, he's had 31. So yeah,
I thought he might train more than that, but
I didn't want to insult him then. I wasn't sure. But, that's, of course, for the Woodlands team. So Woodlands Syndicate as well. So well done to Zach there. What's her name? Addington race during the day. It was an unusual time slot. Caught me unawares a little bit. I sat down to watch Sky Active, I must say. And I think I tuned in. It was about race 6 or 7 on the night. It was a bit different of a time slot.
Yeah, it was, but it was great to have the races on during the day, and obviously the Wars played at 8 o'clock on the same night, right next door. So, Addington had a very good crowd and spectators and upstairs. So it was actually great for Addington to have that meeting and combined with the Wars. So they got the win too. So it was it was a great day.
Wars, how do they get Wars?
I don't really know.
Western.
I think it's just someone set up the wires, and now it's stuck. So,
all right, I'm in an AFL state, mate. So no one, if anyone's watching it from my state, they're going to be like, "What the?" Who's to Light? He was terrific. Wasn't that a great finish, that race, that last race? I did actually see that. And it was a blanket finish. They came from everywhere. Vessam was off the bit down the back, and he found the line terrific. Beach Ball knocked up a little bit, but it was a great finish, a great way to end what was a good day of racing.
Yeah, it was, and it's great for those horses because they're obviously, you know, just that next step down from racing in those Group 1 races, and with them still competing in Canterbury, like I think the last 4 weeks they've all raced together. There's been a different winner in each race, so you know, it's great for those horses to still be able to get a run and you know, race for good money too.
Yep. Queen Lizzie, I think, was the horse I was going to mention. That was the 2-year-old, was it not? Yeah. Yeah, the 2-year-old fillies. She was nice. She was a nice winner there, beating Better Bell, another for Crown and Chrissy. Geez, they've got a nice team at the minute. That was a nice little 2-year-old race, I think. And Arthur Shelby, great little photo, actually. Seth Hills changed his profile page, and it's a great little photo of him coming back with his old man walking alongside. So I think well done to those guys as well.
Yeah, no, Arthur Shelby's a horse on the rise, and you know, he's drawn one again on Friday this week. So you know, Benny's had a very high opinion of the horse, and yeah, he just keeps stepping up. And you know, even from the draw last week from Barry 13 to sit outside them, and you know, was very good again.
Yep. Right, we go to Invercargill. We're going to go to Sunday at Invercargill, and I hope to catch up with Johnny Turner actually at some stage, and I want to try and change this show up a little bit. Anyone watching, we're going to get a bit of a Southern update, hopefully if Johnny can, or someone else might be able to a little bit more in depth. But I'm sure you're well and truly across them all. Great Sunday of racing, wasn't it, for a start?
Yeah, it was, and you know, this is such a big day each year down the south, and you know, they had some very good Group 1 races and some very good horses running around. So it's great to have those meetings down there, and they're such a big part of, you know, New Zealand harness racing, and you know, having sometimes two meetings a week. It's great. You know, they're great people down there, and yeah, such a big day for them.
Absolutely. So we'll start with the first. The first of the feature races on the day. This was the Southern Classic for the 2-year-old trotters. Great friends of mine, great supporters of mine as well. The Prices, of course, from Southernbred, Southern Red. They're on the board, mate, with their first ever trotting winner. Oh, you got to touch your microphone too in a sec. I haven't hit the thing for you either. I threw you under the bus then, but you're good. They finally got their. Well, then finally they bred their first trotting winner, which is great for them and great for the industry to see them, you know, getting into the trotters and breeding more quality trotters.
Yeah, it is. They've bred a lot of great horses in their time, and it looks like they've got another nice horse on their hands here. And yeah, it was an exciting race though, wasn't it? With only, you know, 6 in the field, but you know,
that's her getting back to 4th. Anyone wondering,
fourth,
Nathan Williamson trains her here, and I think she's still got a lot to learn as well. But Nathan looked after her, but she done a great job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, first start, and you know, a couple of those other horses have had race starts, and for her to pick them up like she did, looks like she's got a little bit of a future about her.
Beautiful action too. I love the way she strides out there in front. She was terrific there. They ended up spacing the rest, but I think it won't be a bad form race, I reckon, that one going forward. But yeah, hopefully we see her racing again later this year in some of the better 2-year-old races. She'll be doing a few trips, I think, to Addington. She'll get used to that float ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And with some good 2-year-old races coming up here, it's yeah, with the ones up in Auckland this week, yeah, looks like there's some nice 2-year-old trotters going around.
Yep. Diamond Creek, they've been great supporters of down south. They've got the Carrots. They also stand down by the seaside. And down by the seaside has got a very, very exciting son here in Jamal, Lukey. This is a horse with a motor. You need to go back and watch the first 400-500 metres of this race because it was very, very tactical at early between Sam and Carter. But this horse, he's the real deal.
Yeah, he is, isn't he, Paul? You know, he's obviously been super in his last 2 starts, and the amount of work he had to do early. And they said they went a 41 lead time, which is very, very quick for any race, let alone 2-year-olds. And
if you tuned in now, Lukey, you could be mistaken for thinking it was just leader behind leader, and it was. But you need to watch that first 400 metres because both these horses worked incredibly hard.
Yeah, they did. They you know, obviously Carter had a crack early, and he wasn't taking no for an answer. And like I said, 41 lead time's very good. And they've gone to 157 mile rate and home in 57.7, home in 28, and he looks like a horse that's just going to keep progressing. And the way Stephen Reid talked about him, and in his interview, he said he's always seen and felt like a very good horse, and obviously a 2-year-old. He's just kept progressing, and I thought the second horse was very good. And Ideal Crown, it was very good in third, and Chelsea Faithful's done a very good job. And with a bit more luck and running and a better draw, he could pick one of those big 2-year-old races up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just got shuffled back at the wrong time, and you're right. And these are the people we want to promote going forward. But we've got to also showcase the races. But well done to everyone there. But I do think Aussies need to follow this horse. They'll get to see him at least in action through the warmer months in South Island. But that stable's not scared to travel, so he might be a horse that in 12 months' time might be over here for some of the derbies and things along those lines, because he's an exciting horse as well.
Yeah, that's right, Paul, and he's got a big future about him, that's for sure.
Rightio, we have got the Group 2. Just trying to get, it's a bit hard sometimes, Luke. I've got to push a heap of buttons, but we've got the Group 2 Neville Stud. Oh, hang on, I didn't hit that button. That's what it was. Macca Lodge Southern Oaks final. Brad Mowbray, congratulations to him and Matty Williamson getting up and beating, I think, a couple of probably more favoured runners. A little blowout, but a great result for the guys down south.
Yeah, it's great for Brad. I've grown up with him most of my life when he worked for Jeff Small and also Dad. So for him to get a big race like this, I was wrapped for him. And horse that does a little bit wrong, but as we've seen at Oamaru probably about a month ago, won in very good time and got a very good trip again on Sunday and capitalised on it. So, a horse that, if she does things right, she's very competitive in these sort of races.
Manners win races. They win trot races. They win pacing races. And, that's one of the great things about it, if you can get yourself into the right spot at the right time. And you can see Matty just patiently waiting. I think he wasn't that patient just then with the head toss, but he knew he had plenty left. And I just love it. Look at that little battler, head down, bum up. And Matty knew here he was home. He just sits down the last 100. It was terrific.
Yeah, that's right. And even the second horse, it's flying, and it's actually still a maiden. So it's run second in 2 Group 2s in its last 2 starts, and it's still a maiden. So you'd think it'd be picking up a maiden pretty quickly. And obviously Captain Mistress ran into third. I thought she had a good enough run. I thought she might have been too quick late, but congrats to the winner.
Beautifully bred filly, Captain's Mistress. You think they might have some bigger fish to fry. She may have been just a little bit soft there, but I'm sure Nath will sort her out. But it's quite funny, the little giggle in your voice when you said it, and I mean it in a nice way, when you were talking about Electra King still being a maiden. It's one of those frustrating things that you might have been able to, in a Group 2, I think that was, Group 2.
Yeah, it was.
Break your maiden status. So she is a very nice filly. But the Better's Delight filly, Delightful Pug, was just too good, and well done to Brad and he's always great with his time for me, and great advert for Down South Racing.
Yeah, that's right. He does a very good job and seems to travel his horses everywhere and place them very good. So for Brad, it's he doesn't have a lot of horses in work, but to pick that one up, I know the team would have been very satisfied.
Another horse going through his classes quite nicely is Mr. Cashman. Does a good job. Touch your microphone, mate, too, sorry. Matty Williamson with a race-to-race double there. But the last of the main races for the day, this was the Aldebaran Southern Supremacy. This was taken out by the Breckon Farms bred. Look at this, looking after. Hang on, I'm too busy worried about my sponsors. I haven't hit the right buttons. But 5 crowns. He's a beautiful horse, this horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a little champ, isn't he? He's been racing super, and just the way he won and sort of extended the last 100 metres, and they've still gone a 157 mile rate and home in 56.9 and 28, and he's sort of just gone away from them. And like, as you can see in the race, he's copped a bit of pressure too. And he's a little champ. He's not very big, but looks like he's got a big motor under it. Nice
horse on his back, always dreaming. He's got a motor as well. And like you said, here in a minute, when Blair says go, he goes. There's no problems there. He's got that same sort of action we were talking about the other horse there before. Head down, bum up, and has a bit of a crack.
Yeah, he does, that's for sure. And I sort of thought when Nathan actually got onto his back, which was a super drive from the 10 barrier, I thought, well, if there's any horse that can actually beat the leader, it's the trailer. And like I said, the last 200, he just went bang and just, Blair kicked the plugs and he just kept running. So, yeah, he's pretty exciting.
Second horse was great for Brett Gray. Would have been a good thrill. He was held up for a long time, and to get up over the top of that horse in the last couple of strides too, he was terrific.
Yeah, that's right. He's actually been racing really good, Flashpoint, and got a good run on the markers, and obviously marker dominated. Was very good into second.
Yeah, some beautifully bred horses won there on the day as well. It wasn't just those. Again, go to HRNZ and watch all the replays if you're an Aussie. It's very easy to do. You can watch it. You can see the results going through. It was a great day of racing down south with some really fitting results. Anything else you want to highlight out of that meeting before I go?
Probably the Southern Cups final, which was won by Double Jeopardy.
That was the last race.
Yep. Yeah, it was the last race. Yeah.
Yep. Nice horse.
Yeah, he is. He's putting a very good record together and just got very good manners and, obviously found the front and then handed to the right horse and Wagstar and beat him up the lane. So, it's great for those horses, those Southern Cups, Country Cups finals that, brings those stand-start horses into it and lets them work up the grades. So, yeah, racing for good money too, which is even better.
American Me loves going down south. Good to see him back almost there. He, as always, tries as hard as he can. And Wagstar's a lovely horse. So, yeah, it is a good race.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, those, Country Cups, those horses that race on those Sunday meetings and, it's very good prize money for those Country Cups finals and heats. So, Double Jeopardy's he's been racing super and got very good manners, which, as you say, manners win races, and off the front was always going to be hard to beat.
Massive commitment. You've got to give a lot of the connections there. Huge plaudits. We mentioned about how trying a week it was as well, but people like Blair Orange, Craig Ferguson, were on Auckland on Friday night. They're down there on the south. Probably for Ferg, it's probably a little bit easier because he didn't have a return trip like Blair did. But also the stables. Telfers were there. They were in the first, I think, at Auckland. They were there in the last on the Sunday. They had horses racing Saturday. Not Saturday, Friday at Addington. Just massive commitment from everyone. I think, people need to be aware that the participants are really going above and beyond at the minute. The prize money's there, but they're also still putting the show on.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's hard work being in the racing game. And obviously when you get results like stables do, it's why you do it. But massive days and days like today where it's 9 degrees and hammering down. I didn't want to be outside for too long.
I sent him a message. I'm ready to go. We're half an hour earlier. He goes, I'm good. So that's generally a good sign that it's pretty average weather, mate.
Yeah, I got 6 done in that. It was pretty wet. So I thought, that'll be enough for today.
Unbelievable. Poor old dad's hip, and that's what you're doing to him. Rangiora also raced on the Sunday. There was one race we were going to showcase. I've done a bad thing to myself, but I think it was the Winter Cup. There it is there. I'll get it up now with Dance to Till Dawn, getting the chockies, Lukey, as it starts to load. So every now and then things just don't quite load well. This is a good field, though.
Yeah, it was. It was it was a very good race, and it was pretty special for Gav to win. Obviously, he was very, very close with Greg, and especially with Nigel Armstrong's interview after the race. It's it was a pretty special win for Gav. Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've been told by 4 people how great an interview it is, so it's a must-watch. Go to Harness Racing Unhinged on all your socials to be able to see that. Nigel does an awesome job for the industry over there and gets a lot of these interviews. Good field, though, this too, Lukey, as far as a form race goes. Pin Seeker out the back. We saw what he was able to do in the race by Betcher. Some really nice horses. Renegade underneath him. Geez, he's wide, Pin Seeker.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously these Country Cups are done on ratings, and Renegade and Pin Seeker off 35 metres, and it doesn't matter even when you're giving them, they're very good horses, and you're giving horses off the front that are handy as well. 35 metre head start. It makes it very hard to to win, let alone get close. And these horses sort of got within 10 metres. And, Dance to Torn, she's a very good mare in her own right. And, she's got very good stand-start manners too. And like Gav alluded to, once he sort of got ahead of Here's Herbie and then got the run, it was always going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah. And well done, as you said, to Gav Smith. So terrific to see. Just touch your mic when you get 2 secs, mate. Anything else out of the Rangiora?
Nah, that was about all for the day.
Yep. Good day of racing. Rightio. Highlights for the week?
I'll say it properly. The Nullarbor on Friday at Gloucester Park was a very exciting race. And obviously 3 ex-Kiwis, they went 1, 2, 3, and Swayze was in 4th. So, Mr. Smarty, he was a very good horse in New Zealand, only had a couple of starts, and he's creating a very good record. And he's a sport. He was another Colin DeFilippi trained runner, and he still owns half of them. And obviously Minstrel was one for Davey and Cathbart, and just horses that have done a great job over there. And the prize money that was on offer, it's great to see the Kiwis go 1, 2, 3.
It was. I just went back a touch too far, then I gone the other way too far. You got through them pretty quickly, but he's just pulling out of the 1-1 here, Gary Hall. They don't do this too often, and especially in these fast class races where they can come off that little bit of speed. And he was terrific. The third horse is amazing. The one getting through in the middle for actually, I think he runs 4th. Will Rickson, he just never gets out, but just a terrific race, and it was great to see. Just
it was.
Too late, Lukey. That was the biggest problem with it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning here, and but yeah, I know Gary Hall Jr. was pretty worried with the barrier draw, and then obviously found the back of Swayze, and they went a 154 mile rate over the 2700, and yeah, he was a very good horse here, and he's created a very good record over there. So
Swayze, it was a good drive on Minstrel, Denny Roberts. Swayze was giving it to her. She kept it as quiet as she could, but Cam Hart wasn't having a bar of it. 27.8 that second quarter, and he only got beat. When Swayze's in a race, you expect that 2.8 metres is all he's got beat. Like, he hasn't even been beaten on lengths. But yeah, another race. Go and watch it, because the tactics in it were outstanding to go from there. And as I said, Mighty Ronaldo, Will Rickson. You never want to go to the line like that in a $1.25 million race. He had plenty left to offer, but he was never getting out. Catch Away for the Aussies was a little bit average, but bad draw. Hard to get into it sometimes, those sort of races.
Yeah, that's for sure. And he's one of those horses. Catch a Wave on his day, he can be very good. So
he's in the Fremantle Cup, and he's drawn the pole, I think. So that's this Friday night. I think I saw that the other day. So those horses will all line up going around. So while you get onto your next highlight, and I'll find that won't be there, I don't think. Oh yeah, here it is here. I will actually get to it before. Yeah, he has drawn the pole. So that'll give him a much better chance over 3,000 metres. Wave Riders in there. Where we got Mighty Conqueror, Pleasure. Where have they drawn? Mr. Smarty's drawn 10, Minstrel's drawn 12. So, yeah, the barrier draws haven't really helped them. He's a sport is barrier 8. So, interesting race. Luke McCarthy's still down the drive. He's a sport too. So, that's interesting. Anyway, sorry, back to you, mate.
Back to Auckland again this week.
Yep.
Another great meeting.
I'll go that way. We'll go to the feed. So we're going to just give a bit of a highlight, I suppose, a promotion for this meeting. You wouldn't believe how slow my internet can be sometimes. It just does make things hard. Big card for the Aussies. The first race is at 4:53 your time, so that's 2:53. So 7 minutes to 3. That's an early start. I suppose that's to beat the traffic, so people can get there before the peak hour traffic. Is it?
Yeah, Auckland isn't the nicest city in New Zealand for traffic. So some days it can take 30 minutes, some days it can take 3 hours. So yep. I'd say they'll be trying to beat that rush. If you
ever fly it across there, get on the 6 a.m. flight, because that gets you there at lunchtime. If you get on that afternoon one, good night. Just you check into Karaka, which is 20 minutes up the road. You check into Karaka after midnight. It's just ridiculous, the traffic. It's, it is terrible. Rightio. First 5 races, just your standard race. Anything you want to highlight out of any of these, Luke? Just make sure you tell me.
No, I think we'll just get to those big ones. And
it is a great night again of racing. The first race is 7:27. The Breckon Farms, great supporters of Campbell's Comments. This is the young guns. We mentioned before the two are pretty much the same field going around, Lukey.
Yeah, that's right. And Fugitive drawing the outside with, the horses that run second and third behind him drawn inside him this week. He was very good last week, but with the draws changing around this week, they might look to leave him out in the death and see how tough he is.
Andretti, what did you make of his bad manners, I suppose?
Yeah, I think obviously just being a 2-year-old, they can have those sort of off days, but we know how good Mark and Nathan are at turning their horses around the next week. So, he's still a big danger.
We actually take it for granted how good their stable is going. It's flying, that stable. They're in the midst of moving, and you wouldn't know it. It just seems to be running like everyday clockwork, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously the job that Mark and Nathan do, it's a credit to them, especially at the moment, like you said, that, they're obviously moving and from Christchurch back to Pukekohe, and, it's it's a big move, and especially with horses everywhere and staff everywhere, it's they're doing a great job.
Just touch your mic when you get too sex. The What the Hell Woodlands and Northern Trotting Oaks is the next one. Having its first start now for Brett Lilly, and as I said, purchased by Aldebaran Park. We'll do a large amount of the racing over here, but she's going to stay there for a little while Lils is over there with Queen Alida. So that's exciting, but great little field assembled here. Yeah,
it's a very good field, obviously, with the two boys out. It makes it a very even contest, but the way Habibti Pat sort of found the line last week, and you'd think it'd have to be pretty hard to beat this week.
With no bad luck, but the way the hopes are going at the minute, they'll be crossing everything, I would imagine. You're right, mate. Sorry, you went quiet, but they'll be crossing everything, that's for sure. Interesting enough, Luke, that phone just ringing was Duncan McPherson. So quite funny. His ears must have been burning. I'll call him back in a second. Race 8 is the Delightful Lady Classic. This is for the 2-year-old fillies. Ripples draws inside the second line. Here, Atletico, who did protest against Ripples last start, gets a much more favourable draw, but I don't think it's that simple a race as Atletico going to the front and winning.
No, that's right. Obviously, even the Queen's Gambit, I see in the Stripes report said it just hung out and then hung in and hit a knee around that last bend when it's galloped.
It was horrible, wasn't it? It was a horrible watch. You felt for connections there. You weren't sure what had happened.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously, even River was 3 fence behind it too. So they were sort of big players in the race too. So it was a bit disappointing. But yeah, like you said, I don't think it's as simple as Ripples lining up and winning this week, and even Atletico drawn 2. I thought the run of Call for Cats last week was very good and behind Ripples. It was sort of 4 and 5 wide around the last bend, and obviously back to the markers this week could trail. So
yep.
It's a very, very good and even field of 2-year-old fillies this week, I thought.
On paper, it looks like Atletico leads. Call for Cats should be behind leader, at worst 3 back the fence. And, going to give it a great chance.
Yeah. It does looking like that, yeah.
It never works that way, but it does look that way, so that's for sure. So the Roy Purdon, we talked before about We Walk by Faith, and a few of these horses just hitting the line terrific. Republican Party's drawn 8, Chase the Dream. He's an enigma. Mwanga, that's a terrible draw in a way for him, but good field, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good field, and 2,200 metres. It's whoever's going to step off the front, they're going to try and run the back markers into the deck. So as I alluded to last week, in Mighty Logan's race, he was off the front and give obviously the good ones 10 metres, and it showed how hard it was to sort of catch the ones off the front when they step and run like that. So it's a big advantage to sort of horses like Walk by Faith, and sooner the better, that if they can fly the tapes and run them along at decent clips, it's very hard to beat them off the front.
I didn't look to see that it was a stand, not a mobile. Don't worry, Lukey, you pulled me up on it. But I'll leave it in. I don't care because I'm not perfect, that's for sure. but it's still a tricky draw. I think that 10 metres, and we saw with the stand for the trotters last week that anything can happen. Yeah,
that's right. But Mwanga, he's such a good beginner. We've seen last year in the Kaikoura Cup how good he can actually step the tape. So, I just hope that he can actually pick one of those big ones up again because, man, he's due it.
Yeah, he is indeed. But a good field, and hopefully Purdens can chase a dream. I think he's coming to Australia, I believe. So hopefully they can work out exactly what's going on. He just goes hot and cold from time to time. The Row Cup, was that Reharvest Row Cup, trotting free for all. Bet and Win draws a pole. Muscle Mountain draws 11. We saw Mr. Love last week, Oscar Bonavina, and we've already mentioned his race. We're to forget about him. Queen Alida. This is one of those races where it's a bit tricky for some of these guys with the barrier draws, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, they've got to have good manners, and it's going to be a test over the 3,200 metres this week. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting racing.
Yeah, it is indeed. Mighty Logan, of course, drawn 2. That run last week, that could shake up this field a little bit too, because if he does find the top Mighty Logan with Bet and Win on his back, you never know. He might be able to beat a few of these more fancy rivals again.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know, but don't quote me on this. I think he ran second to Just Believe last year.
Yep.
So over the 3,200 metres again, step and run. He's a horse that looks like he's just a free roller. So if he can find the front again, yeah, it's going to be an exciting race. So just hopefully there's no bad luck with Muscle Mountain and Oscar Bonavina again, and it's they're in the race to make it even better.
No, absolutely. Great night of racing, Lukey. There's plenty to look forward to. It's great for New Zealand harness racing, full stop.
Yeah, it is, obviously, and even though it's coming into the colder months of the year, the racing's very hot, and yeah, racing's for some very great money, that's for sure.
No, absolutely. Lukey, thank you. I will touch base with you next week. We will catch up for a show going from there. As I said, I'm going to try and catch up with Johnny as well and continue to promote New Zealand harness racing as best we can. I've got to catch up with a few of the participants. I did get a little bit shell-shocked, I suppose, at the start of the week, so that put a dampener on things on what was a great meeting for harness racing, full stop. So, mate, I really appreciate you joining me and going from there. HRV did a video, if you like, a tribute to Greg Sugars, and I am going to actually play that on the way out of this video. I think it was very, very fitting. But, mate, thank you for joining me, and we will be back next week.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.